What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to go over some of the new information released on the 2019 Ram 1500. Just real quick though, just a quick update for those of you that have been following my videos. The big boxes that I had in the garage, this is actually what was in them. I don't know how well you can see that, but yeah, some new patio furniture. Don't mind my little grill over there. But yeah, so that's what was taking up some space in the garage. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to get right into what we know so far about the 2019 fifth generation Ram 1500. So we're going to start with this first picture. It seems to be a Laramie Limited. I believe the site that I got it from said that's what package this is. So this is the top of the line package for those of you that don't know. The two highest packages are the Laramie Limited and the Laramie Longhorn. It's just one is more like a suit and tie type package, and the other one's a little more like a Western package. But they are both equally high on the list. So anyway, moving on. I will start by saying I do like the hood. It looks like a dual cowl kind of setup on the hood. It has a split down the middle, so I wouldn't call it like a traditional cowl per se, but it does look like it has a cowl-esque kind of look to it. Right away, the first things I don't like, and I hate to be this way, but the first things I don't like are the headlights. I don't like how the headlights and the grille are connected, and then there's body coloring in between the bumper and the headlight. That is very, very much like a Toyota Tundra, and I don't care for that personally. And I also don't like the badge placement on the hood. I don't know if that says 1500 or Hemi or exactly what that says. I believe it says 1500, but I don't much care for that either. Tundra is also a brand that puts their badging on the hood, and I believe that's just too much like a Toyota Tundra. That's just my personal opinion. And then the other thing that strikes me is the grille. I'm not a fan of the Ram grille. I'm a little more of a purist, traditionalist, however you'd go about that. But of the original Dodge Ram crosshair grille, like you see in a lot of the 4th gens, I'm a big fan of that. I mean, that's been around since Dodge has been around. That's their trademark. It's their trademark look, just like Chevrolet has the bar that goes through the center of the grille with the bow tie in the middle, the blue oval for Ford. I mean, to me, it's a trademark like that for Dodge, or what's now Ram. So I don't care that that's gone. I understand this is a higher end package, and even on the current 4th generation trucks, if it's a Limited, it does have a Ram style grille and not the old style crosshair. However, I've seen some Bighorns and some other packages lower that do not have the crosshair grille either, so it kind of leads me to believe that they're going away from that, and I personally don't care for that, because again, I've been a fan of Dodge since I was a little kid, and so I grew up with the 2nd generations, and so the 2nd generation Ram, and so that is really what I like to see, that traditional style look. Even back to the 1st generation, they had the crosshair style grille, and before that as well. So, but anyhow, moving on to the next picture, this is like the rear view picture. I do like how they flared the fenders out a little more. I think it gives a little more of an aggressive look. I like how they're not following GM and Ford with the upswept rear window. If you guys have seen a lot of their new designs, they tend to kick the rear window up at an angle, kind of taper it a little bit. I prefer it straight as you see it in the picture, so I do like that. Also kind of like the wheels. They're like a two-tone, looks like chrome and maybe black or maybe a gray or something in the wheel. That's kind of neat. So I do kind of like that. I don't care much for the big Ram logo in the middle of the tailgate. Just not a big fan of big badges like that. I'm just not a fan, but it doesn't look bad per se. It's just not my personal taste. Moving to the exhaust, however, I do like the cutouts for the exhaust, how the bumper is molded to accommodate dual exhaust from the factory. I think that's a good factory option to have, because a lot of guys do like the exhaust to come straight out the back, and I know there's a lot of guys that kick it out the sides or dump it under, dump it just over the axle or somewhere under the bed. And that's totally fine. But there are a lot of guys that do kick it straight out the back like that. And I think it's cool that the factory did that so that if you want the clean, good look, good factory clean look of the dual exhaust, but you want a little more sound, you just either delete the muffler or maybe swap it to something a little more aggressive, and you have the clean factory look with the aftermarket sound that you're looking for. Moving on to the next picture, this is the Ram Rebel, as you can tell. It looks very similar to the 4th Gen Rebel. I believe even the wheels are the same. I mean, it looks aggressive. It's basically what you would expect. Of course, it doesn't have that 575 horsepower Hellcat motor under the hood, but we can still dream, I guess. Hopefully the TRX4 will be a reality one day. I highly doubt it, but it would be very cool. But anyway, not really much to see here. I mean, it's the Rebel. I mean, if you're a big fan of the Rebel, I do apologize, but I don't, I'm not really a big fan of the 1500 period. So, it's just, it looks a lot like the 4th Gen to me on the outside. I did see something cool on the inside, though, so I will go to the interior picture. If you notice on the seats, on the interior shot that I have here, the seats actually have the Goodyear Duratrack tread pattern as the design in the seats. Now, I don't know if the 4th Gens had that or not. I've never seen the inside of a Rebel in person, and so I'm not 100% sure if they did that before or not. Either way, I think it's a very cool touch to add the tread pattern into the seat like that. I think that's really cool. And I'm not a huge fan of the red accents on the interior, but with the red truck, I can understand maybe red, black, or maybe like a gunmetal gray. I could see having the red accents on the interior, but hopefully all the Rebels don't come with red accents. Moving on to this is the big 12-inch infotainment center. I'm assuming it's still a Uconnect. I couldn't really find a lot of information on it, but it is a 12-inch screen. I mean, the 8.4 in the 4th generation and the current model, I mean, that was a big, nice screen. And so to go from that to a 12-inch screen, I mean, now we're approaching like Tesla territory. I think Teslas are like a 15 or a 17-inch monitor in their cars. And so, I mean, 12, I mean, that's a serious screen right there, as you can see. I mean, it basically takes up the whole center stack, and it fits well. I mean, it doesn't look goofy. I was kind of concerned at first when I heard they were implementing a 12-inch screen. I thought it might look kind of goofy, but it does not. It looks clean, in my opinion. Looks like you can see a lot better detail on things on the nav. And if you notice at the bottom to the left, the bottom left of the screen, you'll see the trailer brake controller. And directly to the right of that, your first switch, they're not really auxiliary switches because they all have functions, but your first switch right there, I believe that to be the air ride. I don't know if the current generation has it. I don't believe so. I believe it's only on the Grand Cherokee, but they have an air ride system on the Grand Cherokee where you can drop the vehicle down 2 inches, go back up to stock height, and then raise it 2 inches. And it looks like in the 5th generation, they're going to add that to the Ram. Now, I know in the Ram trucks of the 4th generation, I know they have an auto leveling rear suspension, but this is not the same thing. This actually levels the front and rear. The auto leveling rear suspension is mainly for towing, whereas this actually drops the whole vehicle down, making it easier to get in and out and things like that. So I think that's really cool. And then starting from that switch over, traction control is the next button, tow haul is the next one, and then your last two are front and rear parking sensors, so you can turn those off if you're in a tight area or you're trying to back up a trailer or something and you don't want to listen to that thing beep at you the whole time. And then moving on to the last picture, which is the kind of expanded view of the Laramie Limited interior. I do apologize, I have a truck going by. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. But I mean, it is just very nice interior. I don't know exactly what all's going on by the gear selector knob, I believe is what you'd call that. I don't know what all that is right there. I'm assuming there's some transfer case buttons there. Maybe your transfer case controls are right there, but that would make sense to me anyway. But there's definitely a lot going on there. That's a totally different setup from the fourth generation. The fourth generation just had the knob by itself, and the four-wheel drive controls were directly below it. But in my opinion, the fourth generation looked a little cleaner than that. That looks really busy to me, but I guess depending on what all they put in there, it may or may not prove more useful. But yeah, I mean, they definitely didn't pull out, or they pulled out all the stops. They definitely did not leave any stone unturned with the interior. And I've driven 2014 Laramie Limited 2500. I was looking at buying it at one point, and I mean, just from my '07, and my '07 is a Laramie, but I mean, just the difference in the quality of the interior is it's just such a big difference. And it looks like the fifth generation is going to continue that interior quality. And it looks like on the overhead console that they have maybe like a SOS button or something like that, kind of like OnStar, the red and blue buttons at the top. It kind of looks like that's what that is. I know a lot of people have mentioned on vehicle reviews and things like that that the OnStar is a big reason they go with a GM vehicle. So maybe Ram is trying to, get some of that business with something similar. I'm not 100% sure, but that's definitely what it looks like. And again, as things come out, I'll make update videos to kind of keep you guys in the loop as I see things, because I'm definitely excited to see the 2020 2500 and 3500 come out. I definitely want to see what they're going for there and what those look like. I've actually been holding off on buying a fourth gen because the fifth generations were so close to coming out that I just didn't want to buy a fourth gen and get under a big payment and then fall in love with the fifth generation and then be stuck under a payment and have to try to figure out how I was going to get out of it without losing a bunch of money. So I'm definitely interested in seeing what this looks like, depending on what the price points are, and if they're not a whole lot different from a fourth gen, and especially if the exterior look is more appealing to me than the 1500, which it usually is. I could definitely see adding a 2500 fifth gen to the channel in the not so distant future. And there's a plane going over right now. I do apologize for that. This is why we can't have nice things. Okay, I think it's gone. So, but yeah, I could definitely see spending the money on a fifth gen, and it would have to be the Laramie Limited. I've been in love with the Laramie Limited since they revised it in 2013 and came out with the updated interior. I've really wanted one since then, but I've just been waiting because I knew the fifth generation was coming out. So I would definitely be interested in that. But one last thing, if you notice on the steering wheel, it looks like they've updated the Ram logo. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'll see some more pictures of it, and we'll kind of go from there. But for the time being, I don't love it, and I don't hate it. So anyway, guys, so now that we got that done, hope you guys enjoyed my little review. Also, just to kind of update you guys real quick, I did get the S&B installed on the '07. I did not get the install video. I did it as soon as I got home. I tried to do it as quick as I could, but the GoPro doesn't pick up light very well, especially low light situations. So half the video is dark. So, I lost out on that. However, there's still hope. My buddy with the Silver 06 is going to order an S&B intake in the near future, and so we will probably be doing the install on his truck, but I will be posting a video for you guys with the before and after, the turbo whistle and that sort of thing. So there's that, and then there should be at least one more video coming out this week. So, excuse me. Oh, man. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you.